Hey everyone, Kelly here with today's Hip Tips. And on today's episode, we are talking about password protected. I like to think of a password as a key to a lock. It unlocks something, right? I keep the key on me just like my house key or my car key. I don't just leave it out. I don't give it to people. I don't make a lot of copies unless I absolutely need to for my own protection. But it's also like your front door where you have a deadbolt, maybe two deadbolts, maybe you have an alarm system. And what do those protections do? What do those locks do? Well, they keep other people out, but they keep us in. And that's what we want to do with our information that we put online. We want to make sure that we can access that information, but we don't want other people to get in to change that information or to take it from us and maybe use it for something different. We want to make sure that we're always protecting our passwords. And the best way to do that is to follow these 4 simple steps. First, anytime you make a new password, I would suggest creating a new password for every different account. If you open up a Twitter, and then you open up an Instagram, and then you open up a Hotmail account, you want to make sure that all of those passwords are different. As easy as it is to have the same password for all of those accounts, it's going to be a lot easier for someone else to be able to hack into those later if they find out what that password is. So make sure it's different. The other thing is, make sure it's a strong password. We don't want people to be able to come on and say, they're wearing a red shirt. Red shirt 27. I'm in. Or Kellie 72. Okay, I'm in. So that's super weak, or what they call weak passwords in some of the accounts whenever you sign up for them. So just use those as a guide. But the first thing you want to do is use uppercase letters. So I like to use at least 1 or 2 uppercase letters when I'm making a password. The second thing is lowercase letters. I usually use, like I said, 1 or 2 uppercase letters, and then the rest I use lowercase letters. And within those letters, I like to put a number. So your password can start out with a number, it can end with a number, there can be numbers in between. A lot of times I like to take zeros or O's in a word and turn them into zeros. That's a way that no one's going to guess what that letter is, and it's also making my password a little bit stronger. The last thing is a symbol. So there's lots of symbols, and you can find them at the top of your keyboard where the numbers are, and underneath some of the letters. So like the carrots that look like this, or like this. Asterisk, which is a star, and it's above the number 8. %, which is above the number 5. Those types of symbols. And you'll have to use the shift symbol or the shift button and then the number. That way you can put the symbol on there. But I would have at least 1 symbol. So those 4 things that you need in a password are uppercase letters, lowercase letters, numbers, and symbols. The other thing is you want to make it long, but you don't want to make it too long. We don't want 37 letters on our password, but we also don't want it to be anything below the number 6. So come up with something that's more than 6. And I would say anywhere between 10 and maybe 15 letters and symbols all together is a good number. That's a strong password. And if you have upper, lower case letters, you have symbols, and you have numbers, then it's going to be really hard for somebody to guess what your password is. The other thing I like to do is I like to keep a note for myself, because here's the thing. With my passwords being different for all of my accounts, that's a lot of different passwords to think about and try to remember. And as much as I love using autosave, in the long run, it's not very password safe either, because anybody can get on my computer and figure out what all of my passwords are because it autosaves. And I don't want them to get into my bank accounts. I don't want them to know where I live or who provides my energy service, right? I just want to be able to protect that information. So think of it this way. Long and strong, and write it down. Write it down, but put it in your wallet, put it in your purse, somewhere safe. Maybe put it in a journal, but maybe that journal is only in your room. Maybe you put it on a little piece of paper and put it underneath your mattress. Think of somewhere that you can keep it that's safe. If you're sharing your home with other people, think of somewhere where people aren't going to go. If you keep it by your nightstand, that's a good place to have it. Maybe underneath the candle or the light. Somewhere safe so that people don't get it. And the other thing when you're making a password is they often like to have security questions. One of the questions that I avoid is my elementary school, especially when I'm living or working around people that went to the same elementary school as me. Somebody's going to be able to figure out what my security code is, right? And that might even be my password. So I tend to not use my elementary school. And I would suggest that since we all go to MP and a lot of us might be from the same elementary school, that might not be the best thing. But you can use numbers and symbols to kind of help that a little bit if you really want to use that password. Another thing is that when I'm writing down my password, instead of writing down the password, I like to write down the question. And I like to write down how many numbers or letters, all of the characters put together in that password. So my favorite song is 12 characters, and characters are just all the numbers, letters, and symbols that you use in your password. Sometimes I'll write it down like this, where if I don't always remember the symbol that I use, I'll write down the symbol, I'll write down those asterisks, which are characters, but they show privacy, and then I'll write maybe 2 numbers or letters and then some more. That way I can go through and say, oh, that's my elementary school password, which is 9 characters, and just in case I don't remember, at least have 3 things that I see. There's a lot of different things you can do to protect your password, but just make sure that your password is strong, because the stronger it is, the least likely it is for somebody to hack on or a computer to pick it up. Just protect your information. Don't let it out like everyone needs to know what it is. If you have it stored on your phone, that's great. Just make sure that you have a lock on your phone so that somebody doesn't pick up your phone and see all that information. And think of it this way. If you wouldn't let people in your house all the time, don't let people access your information online all the time. Keep it protected and make sure that if you really don't think that you can keep up with them, let somebody close to you know that's not going to come in and take your information off the internet or share it with somebody that you wouldn't want to know. I usually don't share any of my information with my friends. I love my friends and I want to share with them, but I don't want to share my passwords. All right, you guys, if you have any questions, please feel free to comment below. There's also going to be a link to help you walk through these steps. And as always, we're always here if you have any questions. Please stay tuned for Olivia and Jesse's helpful hints at 11:30, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.